Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of our September series, Preparing Your Child for Academic Excellence. Everything that happens has to be prepared for, right? At least that's what we're raising our children to do, to learn that it's not about just the result, it's also about the process. So for today, we're going to look at understanding your child's learning style. Understanding your child's learning style. I'll attach video resources that you can watch after now so that it will expand your mind and give you more content, give you more understanding to what we are going to discuss today. If you see me looking here, I am not being distracted from you. I just simply want to be sure that I'm covering everything that I plan to cover. So we're going to start by reading the scripture for today. The scriptures. I have 3 different scriptures for today. The first one is from 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 that says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And then I'll read Deuteronomy 28:13. "And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only and not beneath, if you heed the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them." So, like I said today, we're looking at understanding your child's learning style. The essence of this episode is just to open us up to the different ways your child learning happens, to encourage your child and help them use this knowledge as an advantage to help your child perform better and inch them closer towards academic excellence. Isn't it Prophet Hosea that said that because there is no knowledge, the people perish? Because we do not have knowledge about something, we are bound to make mistakes. So this session is to equip you with the knowledge that you need to not make mistakes, right? Now there is this school of thought that this ideology about understanding a child's learning style should not be encouraged. That children should be encouraged to adapt to whatever learning style that they are exposed to so that it doesn't limit their learning, it doesn't limit their understanding. I get that. But I also strongly believe that at their growing stage, at the foundational stage, it's important to understand how they learn and use it as much as possible to an advantage, to their own advantage, right? Personally, one of my learning styles is reading and writing. I'm going to share with you. I did such an amazing research, and I'm going to share with you what these learning styles are and how I've seen them come to play practically in the life of my children, and how they've helped me, or understanding their learning style have also helped me to get them to learn better and perform better academically. Okay, so this does not mean that the child should just be limited to these learning styles, or if you have identified a certain learning style. After I teach on the 4 major learning styles, the internet has, some people say 7, some say 8, but my research and then looking at the experience I've had with my own children and the people that I know, and growing up and having to counsel and speak to other children and parents, I can group the learning styles into 4 major learning styles. There is the visual learner, there is the auditory learner, there is the kinestics learner, the one that likes to do, right? And then there is the reading and writing learner. So we're going to go on step by step. The visual learner prefers to see, just like the name implies. They are imaginative, they think in pictures, they like using charts, pictures, illustrations, images, maps. They want to see a picture. When you explain a concept and you put it up on a chart, you put it up on the wall, they see it comes alive to them, right? That's a visual learner. So they pick up facial cues. If your face actually teaches them something. The way you keep your face, they read it and it teaches them something. They pick up facial cues and body languages, and too much movement in the classroom distracts them. So could it be that your child is a visual learner and the teacher's style is moving from one point to the other and it's quite distracting? Is that why he's not able, or all the teacher does is to talk and write on the board? There is no chart that he can see physically, visually, a chart that explains how that a chart that displays the small letter, capital letter, that shows, that chart that has A and then apple or whatever beside it and all that. You should have, if your child is a visual learner, I believe that you should have this kind of resources that help them see. They see it. My son Aaron is a visual learner because I see that when he sees it, he's able to attach meaning to it. He's able to learn it. So he goes, what's this? What's this, mommy? What's this? What's that sound? So talking alone doesn't really do it for him. He has to see it. He has to see it. So for this kind of people, how do you help them? You get them colorful markers, especially for older children. But my son Aaron is 3, he'll be 4 next year, right? But he likes to use colors a lot. Colors and colored learning resources helps him to identify what he's learning and it sticks to him. He is a visual learner. And then flashcards, you can cut out flashcards with alphabets, maybe alphabet and a little description of what that alphabet begins with. So if it's apple, for instance, you can draw an apple. If it's B for ball, you can draw a ball. I think I'm getting that right. If it's C, for example, you can draw. There's a way they taught us to draw cat. I think 2 eyes, then a nose, then a mouth, then a face, then 6 and 6. The point is, you can draw and put it on a flashcard. The same thing with numbers. You can get, by flashcards, don't overthink it. Just get cardboard paper and cut it up, into maybe 4x4 or just into square shapes, right? Write out the numbers and let them use. Here I wrote flashcards that can be used to master important subjects such as numbers, letters, words, and ideas. So you can actually include it as part of your weekly activities or weekend activities to create those flashcards together with your child. And it's very, very interesting. You can teach them ideas in an organized way, like natural progression, so that they can connect it in their minds. For example, you have to teach them ABCD first before you start teaching them vowel sounds and all of those things. So let it be in natural progression. Use lots of diagrams, illustrations, charts, and explain concepts. So for visual learners, it's not enough to talk about it. They want to see it. So visual learners want to see it. And then we go on to auditory learners. These are people who learn basically through listening. So in classroom, you'll find these people listening with rapt attention and they really want to understand. I remember when I was in the university in my 3rd year, I used to have this friend that doesn't really spend time to read. She doesn't spend time to read, and yet she aces her subject, her courses every time. So I asked her, what's your secret? And she said, when I'm in class, when that topic is being taught, it gets into my head faster than when I read it when I'm not in class. Because when I read it, I don't understand it. But when I see the gesticulation of the teacher and the questions asked and how he answered them, it gives me an understanding of how the mind of the teacher is working and what he's trying to say. And I didn't get it. Because one of the ways also that I read is the 3rd learning style, which is reading and writing, which is also what I don't want to get there. But I saw it. So while I was doing this research, this thing came to my head and I was like, I see. This is her primary learning style. So these people don't want to go to school. They don't want to be late to school. They want to sit in front. They want to be attentive in class. They are rapt. They want to sit. They want to be seated. And even when you are teaching them, they want to see you. So for some of these people, initially online school didn't work for them, right? Online school didn't work for them. So for this type of learner, reading alone may not cut it. They have to hear what they read, so they tend to read often aloud. Yes, that's another thing. You see a child reading aloud, before you stop your child and say stop shouting and stop reading aloud when you're reading, find out if his or her primary learning style is reading out loud, is an auditory learner. If that's the case, then please give them all the space that they need and ensure that they have a serene, comfortable environment with little or no distraction where they can have, and for younger children, songs, recitals, turning it into a song, turning it into a recital can help them grasp it. If your child is constantly not doing well academically, find out what this child's learning style can be, or this child's learning style is, and let's see, if adapting that model can help your child learn better. I believe it will. Sometimes I also make up stories while studying, it helps me. But auditory learner, yes, I'm also an auditory learner. I like to listen. I like to hear. I like to be in class when the teacher is teaching, but just being in class doesn't cut it for me. I have to also go back and read and make my own notes. I have my own notes. They are very precious to me. So being in class is great, but reading after class is good. But being in class helps me to take the appropriate notes, right, the way I will understand, so that when it's time for me to read, I know what I'm reading. So for your child who is an auditory learner, make up stories that illustrate the idea that you're trying to pass across. And please let it be one idea at a time. Give clear instructions and be patient even when they ask 101 questions. So when it's time to do homework or even to study at home, an auditory learner may want to hear what they are reading, and if they are younger, songs. So when you sing the class, when you sing the teaching, or when you sing the topic, it sinks in faster. Aaron, my son, my 3-year-old, also grasps things when he hears it. So I see the way he fixates, like I see the way he has this rapt attention, and when at the end of when they have finished watching whatever it is, he still keeps singing what is being taught. In my theory, I believe that there is not just one method, but I also believe that there is one learning style that is predominant, or maybe two strong learning styles that are predominant. If you can find this out, then it will be great. And the third learning style is reading and writing. The child that learns using this approach prefers to read and write out and point out what they learn, just like me, right? It's not uncommon to see a child write out ideas, so when they're reading, they have to write it out in order for it to stick. My older son, Jason, this is his predominant learning style, reading and writing. He reads a story, and then boom, he gets one bright idea to write a story from what he has read, and he asks for a notebook and pen and paper, and he writes it out. That way it sticks. So that learning style requires that they learn in a quiet place where there is no distraction, allowing them to get down the concepts, the things they're learning, the ideas, the concept, the key learning points, and make sure that they have a comfortable place to say it, and they are happy, they are satisfied. If eating, they're not distracted by hunger, for example. You know how hunger can distract you when you want to read. So that hunger or thirst does not distract them from reading. So we go on straight up to the kinesthetic learning. The kinesthetic learner, this type of learner thrives best when there is a hands-on dimension to what is being taught, because they don't like to sit for too long. And that's my second son, Nathan. He likes to touch it. So if you tell him, this is a bulb, what did I say? This is a bulb, it sticks faster. Then when you start talking to him, so a bulb is a substance that is shaped, I don't know, is this cylinder that is shaped in a cylindrical, that has a cylindrical shape with, just show him. So this is a bulb, this is what a bulb looks like, and it sticks. They want to see it, they want to touch it. So they will thrive best with experimenting and all of that. Here I have make the learning relatable with activities and even their own personal experiences told in a story-like manner. So I remember when my child was learning clock, was learning to tell the time. He hasn't perfected it yet, but he's doing better. So when he was learning to tell the time, and you just have the drawing, you have the drawing and the hands, and you tell him that when the long hand is on a number and the short hand is on 12. No. When the short hand is on a number and the long hand is on 12, then it's o'clock. He didn't quite get it until I brought out the clock and showed him, turned it, showed him, and asked him to turn it and tell me what the time is. He wants to touch it. So you have physical materials that they can hold and touch, that drives the point home. Make that learning memorable for him by showing him how it works. They want to see how it works. They want to touch it. They want to feel it. Activities is what helps the kinesthetic learner to learn. I beg your pardon. Kinesthetic learner. So it's not uncommon to see a child with a combination of 2, 3, or even all 4 of them. The 4 being visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic learner. It's possible that your child has the 2, but the idea is to find out by observation and engaging them which of these learning styles are strongest for them. Finding out if they are visual learners. Visual learners help to know how to structure your teaching time at home. Finding out if they are auditory learner, finding out if they are reading and writing, or if they are the kinesthetic learner, helps you to structure, how you will do your own job, and also how you would feedback the school. So when you go for your visiting day, for example, open day, you have content. You don't even have to wait until open day, because you should actually check up with your teacher once in 2 weeks to find out how your child is doing, in my opinion. So the idea is to know, and then armed with this knowledge, you are better informed on how to organize your home in such a way that academic excellence becomes easier to achieve, easier to accomplish. So my advice, have a conversation, and also use this period to watch your 3-year-old, your 5-year-old, what excites him or her. How do they interact with toys? Do they play with other children? Now, the people in the reading and writing learners like to have group conversation. No, the auditory learner likes to have group conversation where they sit down and speak and revise with other children, older children. They have group conversation, and what everybody is saying is making meaning to them. That's an auditory learner. So do they like to interact with other children? Do they find it easy to bond with them? How do they interact with videos, for example? A visual learner, it's not really about videos for a visual learner. It's about what they see and how it explains the concept, like the charts, the illustration, the table, and all that. When me, for example, when I see a chart, it drives home the point faster than when you're just reading it out or saying it out. When I see the chart, it drives home the point. So there are kids like that want to see it. Find out from your 7-year-old or your 9-year-old or your child who just stepped into secondary school how they learn best. how they learn best. It can give you an insight to whether there's a need to change the learning environment, or there's a need to upgrade on the assistance that you deliver or that you render from home or from your own corner as a parent, because learning is a collaborative effort between the teacher and the parent. The teacher can't do it alone, and that's why it behooves on us parents to pick it up from where they left it off. You would say, but why am I paying all the school fees? Very good. How much are you paying? With respect to your child's potential, your child's destiny. So, no matter what you're paying, it's important that you pick it up from where the teacher left it off. You are the primary number one teacher that they will ever have. And you should be your child's role model. One thing I want is for, these things that kids say, my teacher said. I'm not saying it's bad, but I want my children to look at me and say that I'm their role model. So many things that I said and did influenced the way their lives turned out, and that also means my life has to be correct. Okay, so I have created I've designed a confession for you, for your I call it the Academic Excellence Confession, to help your child's mind be tuned to what he or she is capable of. So you can download it from the description box below this video, or you go to our Instagram page and download it with the link in bio. Whichever way, just download it and enjoy. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of episode 1. I hope to see you in episode 2, and don't forget to share, and subscribe. Subscribe. Thank you, and see you in episode 2. Bye for now.